with all I know about the universe. You'd think I'd have it down the way it works. If I'm so richly blessed, how come sometimes I'm such a mess? Yes, I forget. So help me remember who I am. Help me to trust in the master plan when I think that I can't. Remind me I can. Help me remember who I am. I've read the concepts and complexities of quantum physics and of string theories, but it's the simple stuff, like love is all that I'm made of, that trips me up. So help me remember who I am. Help me to trust in the master plan when I think that I can't. Remind me I can. Help me remember who I am. I am a precious child of God, for heaven's sake. Not floating solo on the breeze. So when I'm feeling kind of small and lost in space, could you remind me, please? So help me remember who I am. Help me to trust in the master plan when I think that I can't. Remind me I can. Help me remember who I am. Last line. Help me remember who I am. I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Weep not for the memory. Remember the good times that we had. Let them slip away from us when things got bad. Clearly I first saw you smiling in the sun. Wanna feel your warmth upon me, wanna be the one. Now I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Weep not for the memories. I'm so tired, I can't sleep, standing on the edge of something much too deep. Funny how we feel so much, but we cannot say a word. We're screaming inside, oh, we can't be heard. Now I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Weep not for the memories. I'm so afraid to love you, I'm more afraid to lose. Clinging to a past that doesn't let me choose. Once there was a darkness, a deep and endless night. You gave me everything you had, oh, you gave me light. I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Weep not for the memories. I will remember you. Will you remember Don't let your life pass you by. Weep not for the memories. Weep not for the memories.
Right. Okay, so Scott has been in bed since 2 days or a day ago. So there is no skit this morning. However, I was thinking that maybe a ghost story might be appropriate.
Oh wait, can you turn the lights? Somebody taller than me, please turn the light. Let's just get this going. It's dark and stormy now. I'm gonna do it.
So as I'm telling my story, I want you all to think of maybe a ghost experience that you've personally had, that you can relate to. If you haven't had any, maybe somebody you know. But as I was thinking last night, I was thinking of all the times that I've had experiences. Well, this is actually one of the experiences that really inspired me on my path and finding more about the unknown or the spiritual entities of life. One day I was about 14, 15 years old, and I grew up with a background that spiritual contact was very natural. That almost, and in my own personal belief, I thought everybody should have that experience. And so my whole life I had searched for it, and but I never had quite that experience that I was looking for. And about 14, 15 years old, we went on this temple trip. And so in my background, you would do baptisms for the dead. And so you would gather names for about a year of family, friends, just people that you knew to do these baptisms for. And while we were and you have it's the Mormon temple, only members can come in, and you have to be like the best of the best. Like you have to obey all the laws, all the commandments, everything in order to get in. So you have to have a little passport membership to get in. And so you feel worthy that you're ready for this experience. And everybody always talks about who's going to have the experience of seeing someone that's passed over, who's going to have this cool experience. Because you hear stories throughout all the years of everybody that's had these really neat spiritual experiences of seeing someone that passed over. Well, we had gone in and we were doing the work. And while we were doing the work, a friend of mine, who was a couple of years older than I was, had started. As we were watching him, he was talking to himself. He had gotten up, walked over to the middle of, like, not even where we were supposed to be. We were all supposed to be sitting in chairs. And he got up and walked to the middle of the room. And he just started having a conversation. And afterwards, someone said, "What were you doing getting up?" And he said, "I was talking to this Mexican man. And he was telling me his life story and who he was. And I was getting to know him. And he was just being polite. He ushered me over here. And so I started talking to him. And gave him a hug at the end and the whole bit. And he went back down to sit down, and so one of the leaders had said, "Well, who you were talking with?" And so he relayed his story and said there was nobody there. There was no one in the room. And when he got up to do the work, all the names that he did were Mexican descendants. And so he knew he was talking with someone he was doing the work for. And it just amazed me that he had no idea that this person was a ghost, that he was dead. He hugged him, he touched him, he talked with him. He felt like he was like any other ordinary person in the room. And it just amazed me how some people could feel it's so natural and other people just so unnatural. So not quite maybe the ghost story you were thinking about, but a different perspective on what you may experience. So anyone else in the room that would like to relay a story? Could be scary, could be
Different experiences, but this one is kind of humorous. I was in Sarasota with some friends. We had rented somebody else's condo for the weekend. It was myself and another lady and this guy. And so there were only 2 bedrooms, so the lady and I shared this king-size bed. Another guy was in his own room. And we were laying in bed, and we felt the bed moved. And my friend said, "Debbie, did you just move your foot?" And they go, no, did you? He said, no. So we ran out of the room, and we didn't know whether to wake up our male friend to protect us. He didn't hear anything. He just slept through it. So we decided to sleep in the living room. And so he woke up in the morning. We were sleeping in the living room. He said, what happened? He said, well, there was a ghost in the room. And I don't know, it was this kind of humor. So we never found out who it was or what had happened, but it was definitely, it wasn't either one of us, but we could feel this thump on the bed. So that's my humorous ghost story.
Okay. Right on.
I think Billy and I have had a couple of experiences where Betty did not want to leave the house. My deceased wife kept putting things back after we moved them.
That's cool.
If you think it is. You live in that
I'd still like
house.
to know how she got her mail forwarded though. And then after a while, it quit being forwarded and just addressed to us with her name on it, you know, to our new house. Because we obviously didn't put in for Betty Gabriel to be moved with us.
So you could stay where she's at, huh?
Mary, I had something happen that I don't, it's not a big event, but I never figured it out. It's just pretty simple, but I'll just tell you from here. I was already watching like Celebrity Ghost Stories, which is one I get a kick out of. So I was watching that one, and the celebrity at the time had been, had a new home, and she, it wasn't a new home, she moved into an old place, and there's a lot of stuff already there. And one thing she couldn't stand was this picture in the hallway of this older woman who had been there forever, and she decided to take that down. And she started having a lot of hauntings. So I won't go into all that show, but it was pretty interesting that, and she finally was so shook up she called somebody to help figure it out, and they said, I can't help you with this, you need this woman from Louisiana, like almost like a voodoo priestess or something. So she called that woman, and that woman said, oh yeah, she's here all right, she's really upset because you're changing the house. And long story short, she ended up pacifying this ghost by putting everything back and sort of like, and actually putting flowers out in the hallway for her. And everything worked out. Well, while I'm watching this, I'm working on my bike. I got a new bike, it's, you know, one of those lightweight road bikes, and I'm working on it, and I've got a light on there that, it's just a tiny light, but it's like a $40 light, because it's one of those bikey lights, you know, and it's pretty bright, little LED light, very simple. You click the button once, the light turns on, and do it again, it changes. But to turn it off, you have to hold it for 4 seconds. It's very electronic, very simple light. And it's there, and as I go in my shop, it's not on, it's never on. I mean, it just works like a basic plain light. I'm watching this show, and I'm getting all into the energies and stuff about this voodoo, and they're talking about the woman from Louisiana and how, you know, really kind of spooky-ish. And I'm working on the light, and all of a sudden, I'm working on the bike, and all of a sudden the light just turns on, just boop, turns on. Well, that's funny, you know. That'd be funny if it was ghostly, but I don't believe that's just too far-fetched stuff. So I reach over and I hold it 4 seconds, and I turn it off. So I'm back to the oiling my chain, and it was like literally every time it was like, you know, 50 to 60 seconds. It was really clean. Boom, back on again. I'm like, well, that's kind of neat. Huh, so I turned it off, and I said, well, if this is really a message for one of you voodoo somebodies, or if you really are playing with me, I think it's really cool. But the only way I'm going to believe it is if you do it one more time in less than 1 minute and not any more after that. It did come on about 55 seconds later. I turned it off, and it never did again. It's been months. I don't know what that is. It's not so ghosted, just as like a message thing, but it was odd.
Yeah, that's odd.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing is to give credit to
Yeah.
what you asked for, you got.
I did, yeah.
and to realize that that's what it was. So.
I guess I do have one. Most of the folks aren't here, or different folks are here today than what happened in the Friday night when we had the Connect with the Other Side, except for Mark. But the others didn't hear this, but this has been my most recent encounter. And she had the workshop to talk with someone on the other side and to get a message. And Judy was sitting about where Susan is. And she says, I'd like to get a message from my first husband, deceased, Art. So we all, put our energies out there to talk to Art. Well, time was getting short, and it came to me, and I got nothing. I closed my eyes, I saw nothing but black, and I thought, oh, this isn't gonna work, this isn't gonna do anything. Well, I didn't see anybody, but Betty's voice came through as loud and clear as could be and said, we're not gonna get to Gabe, so please tell him, don't worry, be happy. And Art come up behind her and said, tell Judy the same thing. This was what, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
2
Yeah,
weeks
it's like
ago.
that whole thing, it all works out, isn't it?
Right, and that's I had chicken skin the rest of the night.
And then you told me that on my friend Lynn, you said, I don't get anything. You said, I don't get anything. I mean, water. I'm pretty sure you said
Yeah, I
water
said
3
water.
or 4 times.
Mhm.
And I just went, well, that's about the one, if he's gonna give you one word, here's a total water, not salt water, not this, not that, water. And that was good.
So that was my
Yeah.
experience. And we talked on the way home, and of course Papa's pretty quiet, he didn't say a whole lot while we were here, but on the way home he said, you're not gonna believe this, but he said that was in like the 70s or early 80s. We were out on the boat and we were always, me and the family were singing, don't worry, be happy, don't worry, be happy.
Yeah.
And his daughter, when Betty passed away, had don't worry, be happy tattooed on the inside of her ankle. Things I didn't know.
Yeah. It's amazing just all the different experiences people can have in real life. So we'll move on to our meditation as we've gotten in the mood of ghostly experiences. And today we're going to help open up some of those channels inside of you. So as you close your eyes, get relaxed, turn on some music here. I love this background music. Take a couple of deep breaths in, exhale out. Feeling with each breath that you take, your body getting more and more relaxed, calm and centered. Maybe picturing yourself at your favorite vacation spot. An internal view of where you like to go, where you feel strength and spiritual connection. Imagining this place where you like to connect. It's on a mountaintop, it's in a white room, a garden, a boat. Where is it that you like most to connect with Spirit? We all have our favorite spots. Maybe along a walk, when you first wake up in the morning, when you go to bed. This time and place that we give ourselves permission to open up and receive spiritual communication. May even be during prayer time, meditation. As you get in that space, imagining that you're there, feel yourself invite in those energies that you'd like to connect with. Setting the space, knowing that you'll be protected and watched over, that you're safe. Give yourself permission to invite in those that you would like to have a stronger connection with that are on the other side. Maybe a family member, maybe a spiritual guide, maybe even God. Feel as if these entities enter the space with you, as if sitting or standing right next to you. And as they enter that space, notice your senses open up. Imagine as if your sight was cleared, your hearing tuned up, your sense of feeling and smell enhanced. all of these senses that help us to connect grow stronger and heightened, making it easier for that energy to flow through and communicate. And as you're in the space, allow yourself to have a conversation or communicate. What is it that you would like to say, know, or just experience? Open up your imagination and feel that energy flow through. Allowing your soul, your spirit, to connect. What would you go do, be, or say? What is it that this entity would like to communicate to you or show you? When you're ready to leave, feel this connection grow as if your friendship just got stronger. Knowing that you can invite in this energy whenever you desire, letting them know if they're welcome in your life, and the times that are best to maybe even show up. Knowing that when their presence is near, that you will recognize them, almost giving each other a sign or a way of recognition. That's a word, a smell, a thought that enters your mind. So that you will be able to recognize and honor their presence. Open yourself up to have a stronger connection at those times that they show up. You can feel yourself as you come out of this meditation, bringing them with you or letting them go, whatever your preference may be. And imagine yourself just walking out, coming back into the room, back into your body, taking a couple of deep breaths and reconnecting with your physical world. Knowing this experience is open to you whenever you desire to have it.